What's up, family? So I just wanted to make some videos. I'm gonna make some videos because I feel like it is time for me to be honest about where I am on my journey. Um, and let's go. Today I was driving and one Today I was driving and as I was driving and I'm in this space, I sat in my car for so long. Like I've been sitting in my car for hours because I'm like, God, where is it that you need me to go next? Um, you know, I am homeless. I left home about 4 days ago. Well, I left home on Tuesday. Today is Friday. I drove 38 hours to California, which is where the Lord led me. I'm here alone, and I've never ever felt this alone in my life. I'm a part of a big family. I have children, so this is probably one of the hardest seasons in my journey. But what I would say is it is one of the most important seasons in my life. And although I'm in LA by myself, I'm really not by myself. God has truly been holding my hand through every single day, every second. Even those moments where I feel like, God, just let me hear from you. The minute I cry out, it's like a baby crying and the mother is just running to that baby. Like, he's just like, okay, sometimes that baby be whining and the mama be like, as a parent, you be like, you'll be okay. But in that moment where I realized I really had enough, God really comes in and he just answers. But one thing I realized today as I cried out just for the help of God, just for endurance, just for the strength of God, because I have nothing. It don't even matter if I had $1 million in my account right now. I have nothing. I am nothing without God. I think that it's so easy to not to be in this in between place, right? When you got your job and when you got so many things going on, right? It's so easy to say, you trust God. But when you really don't have nothing, when you allow God to strip you and break you and crush you and prune you to having nothing and rebuild, and now you in this rebuilding stage, you really have no clue. You don't have a clue, right? You don't have a clue what faith really looks like. It's like almost being healthy and you like, yeah, I trust God, until you really get sick and that faith gets tested. It's just different. But one thing I realized today as I drove and I'm literally, y'all, I'm in my car. At some point, I'm yelling because if I can describe this type of pain that I'm enduring in this season, it's almost like my soul is like aching. Like it's like a cry that is aching. But something so supernatural about how I'm feeling right now is that in between everything, we've all cried before, right? Like we've had like heartbreaks, we've had a lot of things going on. We've all cried before, but truly this cry is not the same as any other cry that I've cried, and I've been crying every single day. I've probably cried more than I've ever cried in my life. Every single day I'm bawling at some point, like, yo, this is mind-blowing. One thing I realized Today, as I cried out for God, I realized that it's not that I'm looking for somebody to come rescue me. I think the fact that nobody's coming anyways hurts the worst. I just always remember myself like always running to everybody rescue. Like, do you need something? Do you need something? If you say you don't need something, I'm gonna find a way to do something for you, right? I just remember always extending myself to every single person that I love in so many different ways for years and years and years, pouring and pouring and overpouring, and not even being able to say that I've overpoured, because overpouring was my portion, right? Overpouring was my life. We get so used to overpouring that overpouring actually looks normal. The empty cup looks full, right? I realized in this season that ain't nobody coming to save me. And I know so many different people felt some type of, is gonna feel some type of way and feel some type of way, that I did not share this information about me leaving to anyone. I found out before I left home that it didn't matter if I told them or not. They were going to talk about me. They were going to mistreat me. They were going to give me to the wolves anyways. I realized before I left home that all I have is God. Before I left, I knew I was facing homelessness, and I reached out to a couple of my family members, and I would disclose a lot of that stuff like in the podcast, but I reached out to them, and the responses that I got was so mind-blowing that when I finally got the revelation of where I was going for real, I knew in my heart that it wasn't even necessary for me to tell anybody, but to sit down with my children and let them know that I have to go on a little vacation. It wasn't necessary. It was already proven before I left that I didn't have nobody but God. Not that I did not know that already, right? But we live in this delusion, in this illusion, right? That we paint these false narratives about people. We want people to care so much that we would make ourselves believe that certain people care about us. And I think I'm not gonna say I think, baby, I lived the life. I lived that life that I love people so much that I would have that I'm gonna paint a picture for you, right? I'm gonna paint a picture for you for myself. I'm gonna just trick my mind, right? I'm gonna trick my mind to believe that you love me a certain type of way, just so that I can feel full. I remember when I was younger and I had brought my first car with my income tax, because your girl been a mama for a long time. When I was young, I think I was maybe 18. I brought my first car with my income tax. And I remember a police pulled me over, and he was like, how you get this nice car? It was a nice car to him at that point. Okay, I had a little Malibu. I had it all painted, said Queen Connie in the back. Y'all don't judge me. So he was like, who brought you this? Who brought you this car? I'm still look cute too. So, and I was like, the first thing I said, I was like, my daddy. Yeah, my daddy ain't buy that car. You heard what I said. I brought that car with my first income tax. But it's like, I love my daddy so much. And he had done brought everybody else a car, but obviously he was a little tired when it got to me. Understandable. But I just had a love in my heart that I painted a picture that he was supportive, when in reality, he wasn't. That's so delusional. But that's the kind of delusion that I've been living in for all my life. And it started to hit me as I cranked my car up Tuesday to leave Miami and head west 10. Okay, west 10. Come on, somebody who be on that road, West 10, okay? Stay on 10 West, okay? As I headed and I stopped in all these different cities, every night I felt like the breaking of lies and the coming of truth. The pain from the truth cuts deep. It cuts deeper than any lie that somebody could tell you. I have been drowning in tears because of the truth. Because I conditioned myself to believe lies so that I could feel full, because I didn't have no more of me to give back to me, so I had to paint the picture. I realized that as much as I was willing to show up for everybody else, nobody never was willing to show up for me. I started, as I cried out today, I started thinking about friendships and just pouring into those friendships. And I never felt that type of love. I remember when God consecrated me from some friends, and I was talking to one of my formal, really close friends. We were friends since we were in elementary school. And she said, well, Connie, you love different. Like, you really love your friends, and we have different type of love. And I didn't understand that until time later, that what she meant was that she don't feel the same way I feel about her. And we had spent so much time together, godparents to each other kids. And as I reflected on even that conversation today, that conversation rolled over to every other relationship in my life, because she was just truthful about it, whether she knew what she was saying or not. I realized that had been my entire life. Family, friends, relationships. I was conditioned to love. I was wired to love without conditions, without a reason to love. I just always in me to love. I remember right before, I would say like a couple of months ago. I won't say a few, it was really a couple of months ago. Right before I went to Atlanta, I remember crying, sitting in my house, and I was like, God, teach me how to love people who don't love me, because I was having a hard time, like, even with my children. Like, dang, this is a season where I don't feel loved by nobody. And I'm just like, God, don't let me lose my love. Don't let me lose the fact that I love people for real, because I don't want to feel like I was crying out saying, God, don't let me lose this love. But something so supernatural about that love is, I found out as I rode today that I don't know what that love feels like. I found out today that I have never received the love that I've given out. And that truth hurts. The clients and just doing lashes for so long and pouring. Being a parent, pouring. Being a daughter, pouring. Being a niece, pouring. and a sister just pouring. If I see somebody in the store, I pour. If I see somebody hurt, I pour. And I found out that ain't nobody was pouring back into me. I know it's kind of hard for people to feel. They feel like I left and I didn't give them no explanation. But this season, I gotta let God pour back into me. I'm empty. I'm lost. I don't even know how to love myself the way that I love people. I've been cheating myself, mistreating myself, deceiving myself, and being a stumbling block for myself because of my love, because of my lack of love for myself, because of the fact that I don't have boundaries. So I know this story sounds horrible. God called you to Cali, you left your children, you did this, you did that. Is that half as bad as not knowing how to love myself? And God having to teach me? And God needing to create space for me to become who He called me to be? While everybody while the whole world is pulling on me because they need something from me. I continue to lose who it is that God created me to be. This season, it's about me becoming. I'm probably gonna cry every day for the next 100 days. Who knows? But I will tell you one thing. I won't come out of this the same way I came in here. As suffering as this is, I haven't slept in the same place. I have not slept in the same place for days. I don't even know. I've never even known how it feels to not have a home to go to, or the same bed. We so take this stuff for granted. We take stuff for granted. We take it for granted so badly that when I sat in the middle of just parking lots today, wondering where I was going, I started thanking God for the motel I slept in last night. And that motel was stank. I mean, I bleached it down, but I just started thanking God because I'm like, at least I had somewhere to sleep. At least there was a roof over my head. I wanted to go to a upscale hotel so bad today. So I was like, I don't feel like cleaning it. I don't feel like feeling uncomfortable. But I mean, this season is just uncomfortable. I thought about how much money it would have cost me to go sleep at another hotel in LA, plus pay $45 for parking. Safe to say, it's a different part of the journey. It's different levels. It's levels to this stuff. And although it hurts. And I know that God is the true author of my book. He's rewriting my story. So I want to take you along. My name is Constance. This is Crazy Faith.